Tonight, a stabbing in southeast London. The search for a suspect after an early morning attack. Plus, pulled off the road for precautions. Hundreds of students without a ride this morning. Their electric buses in need of inspection. And when fundraising finally pays off.
See what happened today? It's all worth it.
Playground accessibility and what it means for the kids who can now play.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. London police are investigating a stabbing from early this morning in the city's southeast. Sean Irvine has more from the scene, including reaction from the people who live near the apparent crime scene.
Medical gloves and what appears to be blood and a bloody footprint remain at the scene of a reported stabbing early Monday morning. London police were called to Hamilton Road in Inkerman shortly before 4 a.m. Witnesses report a man was found lying on a sidewalk surrounded by trails of blood. Police confirm he was transported to the hospital with serious life-threatening injuries. Chuck Phillips, a nearby resident, heard the initial sirens, but didn't step outside of his apartment until shortly after 4 a.m. By then, he noted blood covering both sides of a pedestrian crossing on the south side of Hamilton Road.
There was blood all over the road there, and the cops were here, and they asked me if I heard or seen anything, but no. But it was a little bit nasty when you see blood running down the sidewalk.
Around 7:30 a.m., London firefighters used hoses to wash the blood from the roadway. A short time later, police cleared the scene. John Grantmeyer watched investigators and firefighters work from his porch.
Figured somebody either got stabbed or something like that because the bleach and everything, obviously there was blood over there.
Grantmeyer expressed disdain about what he sees as another example of occurrences in the area.
You know, it's not surprising. I've been here 21 years, so I've seen it all.
Yeah, it's getting bad.
Police are actively appealing to anyone who can aid their investigation or supply video surveillance. In London, Sean Irvine, CTV News.
Provincial police say they have a suspect in custody after a shooting on the Oneida Nation of the Thames. According to police, a break and enter was reported Sunday morning. When officers arrived, they say they found someone who had been shot, who was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
Later in the day, through investigation, a 26-year-old of Oneida Nation of the Thames First Nation was taken into custody without incident, and the Middlesex County Crime Unit is assisting with the investigation.
Police in Toronto say they've arrested 2 people, including a 12-year-old boy. They've been investigating a rash of violent assaults, which has left 1 man dead. With more on the charges, here's Beth McDonnell.
On Sunday, August 31st in Toronto's downtown core, police say a 12-year-old and 20-year-old went on a violent crime spree. At times during the 5 attacks, one of them was armed with a hammer. 3 of the victims were people experiencing homelessness, and in one case, it's led to the alleged killing of a man beaten in Nathan Phillips Square.
It is here that they encountered a 62-year-old underhoused male sleeping on a bench. Unprovoked, they began violently beating this male.
Police say all the attacks took place between 5:45 and 8:07 in the morning, with the first 2 at or near Yonge and Dundas. To start, they say the accused approached a man experiencing homelessness sitting on a bench and beat him. He managed to escape, but a short time later, police say the pair attacked another unhoused victim, this time a 70-year-old. He got away too before being rushed to hospital with serious injuries. It was the 3rd attack that took place at Nathan Phillips Square, police say, against the 62-year-old man. This time, the accused took off, with the man going to hospital with serious injuries. He was released, but police say he died 4 days later.
The cause of death was determined to be related to this attack.
Leaving the square, police say the pair went to Gerrard and Yonge, where they tried to take a 63-year-old man's phone. But when he tried to get it back, they pushed him to the ground, before moving on to College and Yonge, where they asked to use another male's phone. When he refused, police say the accused slapped the phone out of his hand and threw an object at him.
Thanks to the keen eye of 2 young officers from 52 Division, the accused were arrested shortly after this final attack.
What is very concerning is the age of one of the accused. A 12-year-old male who cannot be identified has been charged with second-degree murder, along with a 20-year-old man, Isaiah Byers, 20, of Toronto.
Police say both accused were on release orders at the time and both remain in custody. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
A fire destroyed a home in Bayfield early this morning. According to emergency responders, no one was home at the time. The flames broke out around 4 a.m. and the Ontario Fire Marshal is now investigating. Authorities say the house is a total loss, but no neighboring structures were damaged. Dozens of electric school buses have been pulled off the road, leaving hundreds of students without transportation for today. As Reta Ismail reports, it was a precautionary measure after the same bus model went up in flames last week in Montreal.
One by one, electric school buses were brought into a service garage on Breck Street today after manufacturer Lion Electric issued a mandatory inspection notice in collaboration with Ontario's Ministry of Transportation. The move follows a troubling incident in Montreal where one of Lion Electric's buses caught fire while students were on board. Fortunately, no one was hurt. Kevin Langs, vice president of Langs Bus Lines, one of the region's largest student transportation providers, declined an on-camera interview, but confirmed that licensed technicians were conducting in-house inspections on dozens of electric buses today. Southwestern Ontario Student Transportation Services, which coordinates school bus service across the region, also declined an interview, instead pointing to a statement on its website. In part, it reads, as a result of the safety bulletin released by Lion Electric, the decision was made to remove the electric vehicles from service to ensure safety of students and staff. Langs Bus Lines has been a key player in the region's shift to electric transit. Last summer, the company partnered with the federal government to convert nearly half of its fleet from diesel to electric, receiving more than $44 million in grants and loans through Infrastructure Canada. In an update Monday afternoon, the company said inspections were on track to be completed by the end of the day, with regular school bus service expected to resume Tuesday morning. Reta Ismail, CTV News.
Hi there. The final week of summer delivers on all fronts. Temperatures are warm. It'll be hot tomorrow afternoon, and the sunshine will continue as we move through the week. This evening, it's gorgeous, 24 to 26 degrees. Sun setting at 7:34, so still lots of daylight. Skies are mainly clear. There's been a few mid-level clouds, but other than that, we're in the clear. High pressure well in control of our forecast. As we head into tonight, just a few clouds and the temperature holding at about 15 degrees at midnight. As we head through the overnight, a few clouds in and around the region, but starting your day with lots of sunshine. We'll talk about how long this sunshine will last. We're going to put those days back to back. Will we break this streak with some showers? I'll tell you when the next opportunity for rain will move in when we take a look at the 7-day together. I'll see you then.
Thank you, Julie. A local blogger is calling out a city councillor over transparency at public meetings. He says he was asked to stop recording at a town hall last week. With more on what the rules actually are, here's Bryan Bicknell.
Vlogger Ben Durham was attending Ward 4 councillor Susan Stevenson's town hall meeting September 10th at Boyle Community Centre when this happened. In social media posts, he explains how the councillor took his camera and tripod and told him he was not allowed to film.
Susan came and asked, and you see in that clip, for me to stop recording. And I did not, because it's a public event and I theoretically should be able to record. And so I went back to my seat and that was that. And then about 2 minutes later, she came and turned my tripod around.
Stevenson says she told him to stop recording once she learned people in the crowd were uncomfortable.
There's ways to behave and to get what you want in a respectable way, and there's ways to be a disruptor and try to get views on TikTok. So it's a free country. He can do what he likes, but I get to protect the people who attend my town halls.
Public meetings like city council meetings are all open to the public. Reporters show up, people take video. It's all very normal and expected. But where does a city councillor's personal town hall meeting stand? Is it the same thing?
I don't think anybody can claim that they have a right under any municipal act to even attend this meeting, let alone record it.
This retired professor says they are not one and the same.
If a councillor is just having a public meeting of her own or his own, even in a public building with public funds, there's still no municipal clerk there. Minutes aren't being recorded. So in that sense, it's not official at all.
He says the conflict could have been avoided.
Just say, I'm recording the meeting, and are there any problems with that?
Stevenson says going forward, cameras will be allowed.
And I'll make sure there's an area set up and we have, some sort of conduct rules so that people don't feel intimidated. But I welcome it going forward. It's no problem at all.
And as for Durham, he says he hasn't decided whether to file any formal complaints.
I have to look into that because, again, I am not a lawyer, and I mostly am just trying to make sure that people feel comfortable to film in the future.
Bryan, Bicknell, CTV News.
A hefty bill is on the way for London taxpayers after a private utility announced it would be decommissioning a steam pipe which heats 4 city properties. But as Daryl Newcombe reports, municipal buildings won't be the only ones impacted, forced to find an alternative on a short timeline.
I'm very unhappy with Enwave's decision to decommission, and I'm very unhappy with the time frame.
Downtown councillor David Ferreira frustrated the owners of London District Energy, a company called Enwave Energy, has notified customers its medium pressure steam pipe providing heat, hot water and humidification to 4 municipal buildings will be shut down on October 31st, 2026. The city estimates it'll cost $8.35 million to install standalone heating systems at City Hall, Centennial Hall, the Central Library and Museum London. In a letter to the mayor, Enwave writes, quote, impacted customers, including the city, will have access to a dedicated community liaison and project management support to help ensure that the heating transition is clear, transparent, and responsive to customer needs.
If they want to have a good reputation in our community and want to continue to have a great partnership with the city, needs to do a little bit more than just a community liaison.
City staff emphasized the complexity and short timeline to get work done in 4 municipal buildings with very unique needs.
The possibility to delay, and that will be a continued discussion as we move forward with the work.
In addition to those 4 buildings that are the responsibility of City Hall, there are a number of private buildings that are also facing the same timeline. Councillor Ferreira warns that shutting off the current source of heating next fall could be devastating for residential buildings unable to get the work finished in time.
Some properties, especially the residential ones, may be stuck in a position where they may not have their heat.
The mayor believes Enwave's sudden decision should come with compensation to the city.
It's my personal belief that they should make a financial contribution to the city's situation.
I think we should be covered in full, and I think that all of the other properties in my ward that are affected should be covered in full as well.
Council will discuss the matter on September 23rd. If the budget is approved, staff will begin design and procurement as quickly as possible. Daryl Newcombe, CTV News.
The Ontario Liberal Party is about to launch a leadership race. Bonnie Crombie announced she'll resign after a weak show of support at the party's annual general meeting this weekend. With more on what happens next, here's Siobhan Morris.
Bonnie Crombie's exit as Ontario Liberal leader comes after less than 2 years on the job. Only 57% of delegates at the party's annual general meeting wanted her to stay. Crombie says she decided to go after speaking with her family, the party executive, and her caucus.
People were there in a supportive way to support their friend and their colleague. And she asked them for their advice, and they all gave their advice individually. I'm not going to say what that advice was.
But Liberal MPPs reject any whisper of a revolt or an effort to push Crombie out. While more than half of the Liberals who voted wanted to stick with Crombie.
It was a tough election campaign. She did her best.
Liberals now say going forward with a new leader is what's best for the party.
If we really want to make the inroads with Ontarians and actually have a chance of forming government in the next election.
The Liberals are entering their 3rd leadership contest since the Wynne government's defeat in 2018. There are some existential questions to consider.
Who they are and what they are, because what we just saw happen doesn't necessarily help the party and strengthen them to take on Doug Ford. They're basically starting all over again.
MP Karina Gould, who ran for leadership of the federal Liberals this spring, has been mentioned as a possible Ontario contender. So has her caucus colleague, Nate Erskine-Smith. He came in second to Bonnie Crombie in the leadership contest in 2023.
He's someone that I think has a special ability to, number one, communicate in this day and age to young people.
Erskine-Smith coy about the possibility of pursuing leadership again.
I got no idea what the future holds for me exactly.
Political analyst Scott Reed says for Liberals, it's less important to pick a new leader quickly than to pick well.
What the party really, really needs is someone who can light the lamp, someone who has the political talent to break through, to get noticed, to take the fight to Doug Ford.
Though there needs to be time to attract good quality candidates.
Because this party cannot afford to keep coming third, or it may not be around to compete elections down the road.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
A nearly 200-year-old hotel in Huron County will reopen later this month, less than a year after its roof collapsed under the weight of excessive winter snow. With more on the Albion's restoration, here's Scott Miller.
Jeff and Lee Graham are just days away from reopening the historic Albion Hotel after the roof collapsed due to an ice buildup last December.
Yeah, we've come a real long way. We've had a lot of people pull up and help us out, and she's a pretty much new building at this point.
The more than 180-year-old roof at Bayfield's Albion Hotel came crashing in on itself during an ice and rainstorm on December 8th. 2024.
I guess starting on that day, everybody was in shock. I think the whole town was in shock.
By the end of December, a temporary roof was installed to try and keep the water out, and by March, the arduous task of rebuilding a 180-year-old hotel that suffered extensive interior water damage following the roof collapse had begun. A spring and summer of constant construction has led to a grand reopening and street party out front of the beloved Albion planned for Saturday, September 27th.
We're pretty proud of how it looks inside, and we're really proud of how the community came together and all the local contractors came and helped us out, and we put her back together.
Graham says they've done their best to maintain the historic charm of the building that was constructed in the 1840s while shoring up a roof and structure that literally buckled under the weight of ice and rain just 9 months ago.
We went to engineered trusses from rafters that were built in the 1840s, so we're all up to modern technology for the roof. We put on a steel shake roof to kind of match what the cedar shake looked like. We got all new insulation, new wiring, so we've really put the time and care into this place to get it to last another 180 years.
In Bayfield, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Dozens of runners took over Springbank Park this weekend for the Run for London Marathon, raising money for the Children's Health Foundation. Take a look.
It's just a beautiful cause that we try to aim for. We're always raising money for different charities. For the past few years, we've been raising money for the Children's Health Foundation, and we're trying our best to just, make a difference, because as Muslims, we believe that it's a core tenet, it's a part of our faith to serve humanity and do what's best for humanity. And this run is just one example of how we're able to practice that.
The charity is the Children's Health Foundation, and that's near and dear to my heart. I am an educational assistant, so I work with a lot of kids that have needed the Children's Foundation.
And yesterday, the 45th annual Terry Fox Run. Thousands of people took part in events across our region. And with more from London's run, here's Brent Lale.
When Scott Marnock runs, he thinks of Canadian legend Terry Fox.
Terry Fox started his marathon of hope 45 years ago, and I guess I'm living proof of that hope, because in 2019 there was no cure for melanoma cancer, which I've now had twice and sort of battled back. And today, through advancements, there's immunotherapies and all sorts of new treatments that have really helped me.
As part of his recovery, he's taken up running. It's led to a half marathon, and now he's training for others in Toronto and Honolulu.
Being a survivor, being surrounded by survivors that have been through all sorts of different journeys, super important. My oncologist would say they don't know what I'm doing right, but just keep on running.
That's what Keith Tapp has been doing since this run's inception.
I saw Terry Fox at the Argyle Mall when he shuffled through London years ago, and then when he died and they said they're going to have a run, I said, Keith, you saw that kid on one leg do it. surely you can start training so you can do it.
He's one of the every-timers who've participated in each of the 45 runs.
I've got a certificate from the year one when they used to treat it like a race. And the time then was 48:52. I said, 48, I'll get 5K instead of 10 and 40.
This is also the first run since Marathon of Hope publicist Bill Viggers of St. Thomas passed away late last year. London's 2025 total is close to $100,000.
This site alone has raised $4.5 million in the history of the Terry Fox Run, and Terry Fox Foundation overall is closing in on $1 billion. It's up over $850 million right now. So all this goes directly to cancer research
to help those like Marnock.
Testament, I guess, to true hope.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
Still ahead, back in session on Parliament Hill. Details on the government's focus in the face of a trade war and global insecurity.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVLondon.ca, your home for news.
Welcome back. MPs are back in Ottawa for the start of the new parliamentary session. Mike Locouture has more on day one, which featured plenty of talk of collaboration.
The Liberals will need help from any opposition party if they want to make progress on things like bail reform and immigration changes. And let's not forget, they still have to pass a budget.
So I'm looking forward to a collaborative session.
The Prime Minister was preaching collaboration, while many were anticipating today's confrontation.
Mr. Speaker, why is it that all of this Prime Minister's promises of yesterday turn into today's disappointments?
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre attacked the Prime Minister's record. Mark Carney responded with a dig about Poilievre's absence from the House as he campaigned in a by-election.
He missed the largest tax cut for 22 million Canadians. He missed the cut on the GST for new homes. He missed eliminating all federal barriers to trade.
Despite all the jabs, all are calling for cross-partisan collaboration on issues like housing, bail and immigration reform, and the ongoing affordability crisis.
So we're going to oppose the government where it makes sense. We are going to support things that make sense, and we are going to expose what they're not telling us.
We are a minority government, yes, but we believe that we have a mandate to proceed with major things.
It's why Liberal House Leader Steve McKinnon said his party is willing to negotiate on details, not principles.
There will be no negotiation, but we want to collaborate. What does that mean? Obey? Become Liberals? Might not happen.
It's by force of will that I ignore the fact that Mr. Carney seems to have one speed, which is fast, and one vehicle, which is a bulldozer.
Any collaboration will be tested soon, as the Liberals will need help to pass a budget this fall, one that the government says is projected to have a substantial deficit. Mike Locouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
After 2 years of fundraising and advocacy, a wheelchair-accessible swing has been installed in a park near Ilderton. As Brent Lale reports, for children with disabilities, it could have a life-changing impact.
Olivia McIntosh has found her new favorite happy place.
This is going to make her joy of swinging a reality.
2 years after Lions Club member Rick Castle set out to fundraise nearly $100,000 for a wheelchair-accessible swing, it is now being installed in Poplar Hill.
I go on my man, yeah.
And Tammy said that she loves this because she can get on with her friends and they can have fun together.
Pretty nice, eh, Tam?
Yeah.
Castle first thought of the idea when he saw parents like the McIntoshes trying to carry their children to the regular swings. He started collecting, and after raising close to $60,000, the municipality of Thames Centre finished off the rest in their budget.
Sometimes I went out in the wintertime and it was so cold and I was doing bottles and cans. And I thought, do I really want to be out here? But yes, see what happened today? It's all worth it.
So no more carrying kids, as there's a direct route with wheelchair parking and a smooth surface directly to the new swing.
She can come and she can play, she can interact with her community. And yeah, everything is thought of. As you can tell, she likes to swing and go fast.
This is the only swing of its kind in the region and will cater to people from all over southwestern Ontario. Poplar Hill Park has already become a destination.
We have people stopping from Windsor that want to use the swing because they have kids in wheelchairs. They're from all over the county. So yeah, it's a great day. It's a great project. I'm glad I did it. I'm just looking forward to the next one.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
Back on the desk now with Julian. I don't think you could have asked for a better weekend to be on a swing. It was lovely this weekend across our region.
It was perfect conditions, and we're holding on to summer. Fall officially arrives a week today with the fall equinox, but still feeling summer-like. And yes, we have more summer weather on the way. Beautiful live shot from Rotary Cove Beach, as you can see, and the water is fairly calm. 26 degrees our high, 13 degrees our low, so coming in above normal. Felt very warm this afternoon, that's for sure, and heating up tomorrow, close to 28 degrees. Right now, still 24, the winds out of the east-northeast, but fairly light. Through the day, they've been about 15 to 20 kilometers per hour. We did see a bit of an uptick in the winds this afternoon, but they're starting to calm back down again. High pressure in the upper atmosphere and at the surface will keep us in the clear. There's some rainfall and some thunderstorms moving through southern Manitoba tonight. They had some heat over the weekend and some record-breaking temperatures Sunday. Those records posted today, but some rainfall tonight is cooling things off just a bit. Low pressure off to the south. We'll remain under the influence of this big high over the Great Lakes, and that will keep us clear. Air quality is still an issue in through parts of Alberta tonight. You can see in the forest fire smoke continuing, and air quality is poor. As we head across the country, look at the temperatures. Not too bad, still into the lower 20s in through northwestern Ontario, above normal, and that stretches all the way into Alberta. As we head out east, it's nice and mild in through Halifax at 19 degrees this evening. Okay, as we take a look at the forecast model, just not a whole lot to show you tonight. Skies will be mainly clear overnight, mainly sunny for your Tuesday, mainly sunny for your Wednesday. We'll start to see a mix of sun and cloud by Thursday, and that's where we'll see things shift just a bit. We do have a cold front coming in for Friday. Overnight, 11 to 12 degrees if you are along the lakeshore, 15 to 16. Waking up to sunshine for your Tuesday morning, by lunchtime 24, in the afternoon high 28, and feeling close to 30. Our metal roof outlet forecast for your Wednesday: sun. Thursday mainly sunny. We'll see a few clouds Thursday afternoon, and then Friday about a 30% chance of showers. Now a mix of sun and cloud is expected, but we could squeak out a little bit of rainfall as the front comes through. Well, now with a big temperature change from 28 to 23 degrees, we'll have to keep an eye on that to see if we will see a little bit more in the way of rain introduced as we edge closer. Saturday, a mix of sun and cloud, and 20, still beautiful. And then Sunday, back up to 24 degrees. The equinox for Monday with a chance of showers moving in, and we'll need some rainfall. So it's been very dry. We've had lots of sunshine and extreme warmth. We're going to hold on to that through the rest of the week with lots of sunshine carrying us right through until Thursday. Thursday afternoon, we'll start to see some cloud cover come in, expecting a mix of sun and cloud on Friday into Saturday, and that probability briefly peaking. So 22 degrees, though, still on Friday. And then Saturday, we're down to 19. On Sunday, mainly cloudy with a chance of nighttime rain, and we are expecting some showers as we head into Monday with the forecast high coming in still at 22 degrees. So it's going to be hot. It's going to be sunny through the rest of the week. The cold front comes in on Friday. Temperatures take a bit of a dip, but forecasts indicating temperatures will remain above average as we start to wind down the month of September. So we are going to hold on to some nice conditions across the region. So feeling the heat, the last week of summer definitely delivering at Carlyle, just trying to hang on with all its might.
We'll take it while we can. Thanks very much, Julie. Coming up, safety concerns for the Sea-Doo switch, the recall measures taken to prevent tragedy.
Another start to another work week. How would you like to sail off into the sunset, start retirement early, be on a beach in Italy somewhere instead?
All of those things would be amazing, and you have a chance to do so. We have a $100 OLG voucher up for grabs at 7:10 every morning this week.
The Bank of Canada is widely expected to cut its key interest rate to 2.5% this week. The policy announcement is scheduled for Wednesday after August inflation data is released tomorrow. Economists expect the annual inflation rate to have risen. The U.S. Federal Reserve is also expected to cut its interest rate this week. Canadian Tire and Tim Hortons are launching a new partnership. Customers will be able to earn Canadian Tire money when they link their Triangle and Tim Hortons rewards accounts. The program is expected to launch next year. Some of the Canadian Tire brands include Sport Chek, Party City, and Mark's Work Warehouse. The Triangle Rewards program is also launching a partnership with WestJet next year. A safety recall has been issued for a Sea-Doo brand boat. As Pat Foran reports, for one family in eastern Ontario, they had a close call on the water this summer.
They are one of the latest designs for fun on the water, the Sea-Doo Switch. It has the power of a Sea-Doo and the seating arrangement of a pontoon boat. Marcus Hurl of St. Isidore says he wanted something fun to use with his children and grandchildren.
We wanted to have something that's family-oriented. They presented us with the Sea-Doo Switch.
Hurl says he was out on the St. Lawrence River this summer. There were 3 adults and 3 children under the age of 3. When another boat passed by, he says his Sea-Doo Switch started taking on water.
It was like a scoop that was scooping up water into the boat.
He feared for his grandchildren's safety and was worried the boat might capsize.
The rear end of the boat was now coming up out of the water. 2 of our grandchildren basically were swimming in the water from there at that point because the front end was submerged.
Hurl says he was able to get the boat to shore, but he says research showed there had been other cases of Sea-Doo switches flipping over. Bombardier Recreational Products issued a safety recall earlier this year and said overloading the front of the boat could result in serious injury or death. It also released a safety video.
Do not allow passengers to sit or gather at the front of the boat that would overload the bow. It may result in the boat nosediving, leading to capsizing.
Hurl believes the safety recall and warnings don't go far enough.
They have not solved the issue with that boat.
When CTV News reached out to Bombardier, a spokesperson said, "Our riders' safety is our top priority, and we are committed to providing products that are safe and in compliance with all applicable laws and regulations." In Canada, the Sea-Doo Switch watercrafts comply with small vessel regulations and construction standards regarding flotation tests and weight capacity. Hurl says the boat cost over $60,000, and he wants to return it, saying he doesn't feel safe using it with his family.
Nobody will ever go on that boat again.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Energy stocks helped Canada's main stock index close higher today. The TSX is up 147 points. In New York, the Dow added 49, the Nasdaq up 208. The Canadian dollar gained a quarter cent today. On commodity markets, gold is up more than $32 an ounce. Oil added 61 cents a barrel. Later on CTV News, we head to London Comic-Con, raising money for Children's Hospital and allowing attendees to showcase their style.
I'm Jason Peffer, Business Manager and Financial Secretary of UA Local 527, Southwestern Ontario. Joining Local 527 is a great career choice. There is opportunity in all trades right now. When licensed, a plumber, steam fitter, or pipe welder will be in the top 5% of the wage earners in the country. To become a licensed plumber, steam fitter, or welder involves an apprenticeship program. It's a 5-year apprenticeship program for a plumber and steam fitter and 3-year for a welder. And during that time, you will earn while you learn. You're getting paid, so you don't have to worry about your bills, and there's no student loan to repay at the end of your apprenticeship. There are no limits to employment with the UA. There are currently 370,000 members throughout the United States and Canada, with work opportunities in every state and every province if you should choose to do so. I would characterize job satisfaction in 2 ways. One with what you build at the end of the day with your hands, and the other all while earning an above average wage and creating a comfortable lifestyle for both you and your family. If you would like to join Local 527, go to ua527.com.
The Trades, brought to you by UA Local 527.
The Toronto Blue Jays are coming off a sweep of the Baltimore Orioles this weekend, which may have sparked a bit of frustration among the visiting broadcast team. John Venevalley-Rao has more on what was said and the reaction.
After sweeping the Baltimore Orioles, the Blue Jays continue to be one of the best teams in baseball, almost certainly destined for the playoffs.
Very excited. I love their chances.
Hey guys, it's Brian Roberts here.
But on Friday, this former Orioles second baseman and now broadcast color commentator took a swing at Canadian fans after the crowd in Toronto booed a pickoff attempt by the Orioles pitcher, who was trying to keep the Blue Jays base runner from stealing second. Brian Roberts saying this on air.
Sometimes we had some major questions about the baseball IQ of some Canadians here and there.
He didn't think the fans should boo since new rules limit pickoff attempts. But on social media, Canadians reacted, noting pickoff attempts being booed happens at every ballpark.
That's what made it really bizarre for Bryan to say that, because that's something that all home fans do.
What also made it bizarre is that the Orioles have a losing record and much smaller crowds at home. Still, Roberts went on to say this about Canadians.
I think, at times it felt like maybe they enjoyed or they knew a little bit more about hockey than baseball.
The Blue Jays having fun with the comments, crediting high IQ fans for having a winning record at home. And Blue Jay Ernie Clement, who's American, told the Toronto Star, "The more I play here and the more I get to know the people of Toronto, the more I gain a respect for what they know about baseball."
We know a lot about hockey, but we know just as much about baseball. We're a very intelligent group here in Canada.
And during a broadcast on Sunday, Roberts changed course and said he was sorry.
I hope that they will accept my sincere apology for what I said on the air the other day.
As for Blue Jays fans, they're now focused on the last 2 weeks of the regular season and hoping to show America in the playoffs just how baseball mad Canadians can be. John Venevalley-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Canada Post workers are no longer delivering commercial flyers. That started today, replacing an overtime ban the union has now lifted. According to union leaders, Canada Post officials are refusing to talk until there are significant changes to their latest offer. Last month, union members voted down what Canada Post said was their final offer. The union has responded with a counter-proposal, which the Postal Service has called a step backward. A mother in Quebec accused of abandoning her toddler has been declared not criminally responsible because of a mental disorder. The woman underwent a psychiatric evaluation, and both the Crown and defense agreed her mental state should prevent her from conviction. She was charged with criminal negligence, causing bodily harm, and unlawful child abandonment. The woman reported her daughter missing in June after walking into a store. Employees said she seemed confused. The toddler was found 4 days later in a field near a major Ontario highway, about 150 kilometers from where she was last seen. Voters in Newfoundland and Labrador will head to the polls in a provincial election next month.
So I just met with Lieutenant Governor and asked her to dissolve the House of Assembly and asked her that we schedule an election date, which is for October 14th, which, as everybody knows, is according to our fixed date legislation.
The province's current premier, John Hogan, will be looking for his first election win as Liberal leader. The Progressive Conservatives are considered his main challengers, while the new energy deal with Quebec is expected to be one of the main issues, along with health care and the cost of living. Multiple synagogues in Halifax were vandalized this weekend with anti-Semitic messages. There are 3 synagogues in Halifax, and one local religious official said all 3 had been tagged with graffiti, which included a swastika spray painted over the sign of one synagogue. They say security footage showing the suspects has been handed over to authorities.
There were reports that the northern lights were seen in parts of the region last night. Rhonda Sutherland captured this photo in Newbury. Sunshine holds as we push through the week. Temperatures in the upper 20s, feeling the summer heat as it hangs on for the last week of summer. Fall officially arrives a week today, and temperatures will cool a bit as we head into the weekend.
Leaders of Arab and Islamic countries met in Qatar today after last week's Israeli strike on Qatari soil. Qatari officials have played key mediation roles in the Israel-Palestine conflict. Today, the leaders gathered in an effort to present a united response to last week's Israeli attack. There was no announcement on any consensus reached, though, and some of the nations involved have their own diplomatic recognition deals in place with Israel. Meanwhile, the American Secretary of State met with Israel's Prime Minister today before heading to Qatar. There were no signs of American frustration or annoyance with Israel's latest moves, but President Donald Trump has made clear his displeasure with Israel's unilateral strike on Hamas in Qatar. Today, Marco Rubio and Benjamin Netanyahu both said peace in Gaza requires a Hamas defeat and the return of all hostages, while rejecting calls for an interim ceasefire. Respiratory illnesses are ramping up, prompting a reminder from Canadian doctors. COVID cases in particular are rising, in line with late summer trends we've seen since the pandemic. With more, here's Heather Wright.
When temperatures start to fall, it's when respiratory viruses begin to rise.
I just felt like I was coming down with something, but it felt a little extra.
Sarah Bartok had never tested positive for COVID until last week.
I had pain throughout my entire body, which then morphed into a migraine. I had pain in my eyeballs, and the fever was quite extreme.
While it's still too early for influenza and RSV, COVID cases are up in many parts of Canada. Nationally, the wastewater viral activity level for COVID is at moderate, but levels are high in Edmonton, Winnipeg, and Regina. While experts don't predict this year's virus to be very different from the past, they are encouraging people to get vaccinated, especially older Canadians.
We know if we look at hospitalization and death, it really is overwhelmingly in that age cohort, especially in those over 80.
This year's respiratory virus season comes at a time of heightened vaccine hesitancy, fueled in part by decisions made south of the border, where access to COVID shots is being limited and vaccine recommendations are changing.
I think it always is concerning when you see a group take a step in a vastly different direction. But I think if you look at Canada compared to much of the world, our policy and advice aligns pretty closely with most other places.
COVID vaccines will begin rolling out across the country later this fall, with Alberta the only province that will now charge most people to get the vaccine. It will still be free for those living in long-term care. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest in the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
Welcome back. Costumed crusaders took over RBC Place this weekend, transforming the venue for London Comic Con. Here's a look at some of the highlights.
Comic-Con's like a place where you can just step into a whole other world. You can be whatever you want to be wherever you want to be, and it all is acceptable, no matter what you're into. It's just a great welcoming environment where anybody can come, be themselves. Basically, you come to this show to find your people, find that person who's like obsessed with that niche like TV show just as much as you are, and you'll find them here, and new friendships happen, new relationships happen. It's just a great place to meet people.
Last year we traveled all over the province and done different Comic-Cons, and all the money, every booth we ever do, all the money goes to the Children's Hospital. Everything that's raised, from merchandise to raffles to everything.
The Children's Hospital touches so many of our lives, and we've had so many wonderful people come by our booth telling about what the Children's Hospital has done for them and their family and their loved ones. And they are gamers just like us here at London Comic Con.
Love coming every year. Especially it's great that London is getting its own Comic-Con, because we really need this, and it definitely boosts London a lot.
Oh yeah.
I'm just here to have fun, see all the great costumes.
This first time checking it all out, soaking it all in, it's been really cool.
I love London Comic-Con.
Finally tonight, a Vancouver man who has turned his daily walks in the park into a storytelling experience. As Adam Sawatsky reports, he's built a bond with the animals he encounters, but there's one in particular that stands out.
When Jake Huang went for a walk that day, he never expected to see a beaver.
It was surprising because it is the middle of the city.
So Jake started visiting the urban park daily to capture the beaver with his camera.
And it was just sort of building its dam and eating and just chilling by itself.
But Jake soon realized he was far from alone.
There's this kind of revelation that there's so much around us all the time.
The more Jake spent observing, the more creatures started appearing, the more calm he felt.
And it really showed me the importance, I guess, of slowing down.
But it was one particular crow, Jake says, who changed everything.
I noticed him right away from a distance because I was kind of worried he was injured.
He was limping, his foot twisted. But after observing more, Jake says the crow seemed to be thriving.
I saw other crows sort of like take care of him almost.
Jake named him Fabian and started documenting the crow daily over the next 3 years.
Well, they're very intelligent and they're very social and compassionate animals.
Recording the enduring love between Fabian and his mate June, which led to the couple starting a family together.
They're quite affectionate, so they would groom each other, they would spend time together.
And eventually, Jake earned Fabian's friendship. The crow would always fly over to greet him, Jake says, even after he had moved away for months.
It was so remarkable that when I came back, he just came to say hi.
How did that feel?
It felt magical, like a Disney movie or something.
Jake is now sharing his real-life movies about Fabian and all the other creatures he's encountered in the city on social media to honor our natural neighbors.
Connecting with living things, having empathy. You see this whole social life in this universe that's so different from ours, but it's just unfolding right in front of all of us. It's pretty amazing.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news at 11. Bye for now.